talk about.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah!
It's showtime, folks!
Throwdown Nation, what is going on? We are live on a Saturday afternoon. It is July 11th, 2026. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 248 of the Throwdown, the community on the interwebs where we celebrate the art and sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt, and today we are throwing down with a guy based out of someplace we have been spending a lot of time in of late, the great state of California. There is a good reason for that. There is a seemingly endless pool of talent in Cali just waiting to be seen. And this guy is spoken of very highly by some of my recent guests, so I have been beyond excited. So welcome with me, the man who rules, Julz Rafael. How you doing?
Not too bad, Matt. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here on the 248th episode for you, and just can't be thankful enough. This is my first time ever doing a podcast.
Really?
It's kind of weird to say in this day and age of like how podcasting and social media has really kicked up. So, but nevertheless, it is my very first one. So I am very thankful for this opportunity. I'm very thankful for you to reach out. This is 248 episodes for you. So let's have some fun.
Absolutely. And for those of you that are watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. That contains all, or at least most, of Julz's social media accounts, along with mine. So do us a favor, if you aren't following or subscribed, please take the time and go to each of our platforms and do so. It definitely helps both of us. And before we get started, I want to let everyone know that we're experimenting with something starting today. If you have a question or comment, you can either throw it in the chat, or if you want to actually ask your question, air quotes, in person, scan the QR code in the upper right corner of the screen, and you'll be able to actually come onto the show and talk with us. The call-in feature is audio only, and all we ask is that you mute any background audio and be at least reasonably civil in your conversation. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first and really the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
I have been wrestling. I made my debut in December of 2024, just a couple days after Christmas, actually, literally towards the end of the year. But going into the summer of that year, 2024, is when I prioritized my training. So just about 2 years I've been training and been wrestling since. I mentioned earlier before we had gone on the air that I wanted to be a wrestler earlier in life when I was like 19 or 20 years old. But I just didn't prioritize it. And like I mentioned also, I prioritize having a family. So that whole dream and goal just got pushed aside. And it took this long, but I'm glad it did, and I'm pushing it forward. So, but for these past 2 years, I've been doing it.
Very nice, very nice. So who actually trained you?
I am trained by the NorCal Hall of Famer. His name is the Great Big Ugly JD Bishop. He is the owner and promoter of the Ugly Dojo, my home promotion. I am also trained by our second head trainer, Old School Oliver John, who is another NorCal Hall of Famer. Two of the most legit guys that you could ever receive knowledge from or train from. Can't thank those two enough, and I'll give an honorable mention as more of a mentor. His name is El Flaco Loco, another NorCal Hall of Famer. He's really given me a lot of messages, and just really enduring me and encouraging me to reminding me you're in this spot for a reason kind of deal. And just I throw him alongside as a coach, along with the first main two with Ugly and Ollie.
Absolutely. So, in the early stages of your wrestling training, what would
Mhm.
you say was the most challenging aspect of professional wrestling for you to kind of wrap your mind and body around, and what would you say surprised you the most?
I would say slowing down, learning to slow down, because if you once you think that you're ready or think that you got one thing done and you got it right, and it's time to go to the next thing, it's like, no, we're not there yet. Like, go slow. Like, it's okay not to be going full speed at every single thing, especially like practices and walkthroughs. So being able to slow down and just like process everything. Um, that would be that's what I would go with. It's just you're never gonna stop learning. It really doesn't stop. So just being able to just process that all and then slow that down at the same time. It sounds more simple, but it's a lot more complex than it is.
Got you. Got you. So, did you come to professional wrestling with a previous athletic or perhaps other type of martial arts background? Had you done other sports or any kind of combat sport prior?
Yeah, I was an athlete more in my teens and early on as a kid. I was a third degree black belt in Korean martial arts and self-defense through this school called Kuksulwon. I did that for a number of years when I was younger. I played like basketball and soccer as a kid when I was like barely like 5 to 7 years old. But to say I was an athlete for a majority of my youth, I wasn't. Like a lot of my sports that I played were very broken in between. In high school, I played football. I tried out for baseball and it wasn't for me. But football was mainly like I joined it really late, but that was like the one sport that I was like, I really like this. I wish I could have got into it earlier. Um, I wasn't a starter or anything like that, but besides that, it was more of just being able to practice and do the conditioning and just like it made me wonder and get into the fields of like what it meant to be really be an athlete. I was a receiver and corner, defensive back. But like I said, I wasn't a starter or anything, but those are the positions that I played and trained for. So I do have some athletic background, but to say I'm like most over top athlete, I'm far from that.
Gotcha. So I'm presuming, based on what you were saying, that you've been at least a fan of professional wrestling the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
it if you can kind of see from right here and the background and my shirt right here, I'm a very just like any one of us. We're all wrestling fans. We all have a little wrestling mark in us. But yes, I've been a fan basically my whole life. My earliest memory is my mom having a birthday party for me. She had the old WWF Attitude Era and like WCW NWO like party theme. Like she had like a theme of like literally of like from that era. And I remember having some photos of like actually seeing like the lunch boxes and the action figures on this Chuck E. Cheese table. So it's
Oh
I've
yeah.
been it so I've been a wrestling fan since I was a kid, but when I really started remembering things was like around like 4 or 5 years old, not too long after that. But pretty much since I can start remembering things, I've been into wrestling ever since.
Gotcha. So looking over at the Instagram chat, actually a guy who is coming on the show actually this coming week, an Ohio-based luchador, Noro Demora, is joining us, so he's going to be hanging out. So what was your first live show that you went to as a fan?
Uh, I was 5 years old. I want to say it was October of 2002. I can't recall if it was Oakland or Sacramento, but it was a Monday Night Raw house show. My father took me to that. It was like literally my first ever show, and it was like my first time ever experiencing like the pyrotechnics going off, and like it's so much more louder in person than what you see on TV. So just being as a kid, and I was like scared the crap out of me. I want to say I was 5 years old. It was October 2002, Monday Night Raw house show. It was headlined by Triple H and Rob Van Dam for the world title. Uh, that's like the most fondest memory I have of that. But my dad ended up taking me to other plenty of shows at the Arco Arena out here in Sacramento. The arena's no longer, it got torn down years ago, but those have been my fondest memories ever since that I was 5 years old that one time. So he took me again to a couple of shows in 2006, 2009. They were all Monday Night Raw house shows at the Arco Arena and stuff. So just having those early fondest memories of my dad taking me there, it's never left. It stays right here and right here forever. So 5 years old is when I started going to shows.
Yeah, yeah. You know, my first show that I went to in person, actually, I was in college, and some buddies of mine from my dorm and I, where I went to college, the closest big city was Chattanooga, Tennessee. And
wow.
WCW was actually doing a pay-per-view at the University of Tennessee Chattanooga Arena. So we went down for that, and I remember, during one of the ring entrances, pyro goes off, and we had decent seats, but they weren't great, and we weren't particularly close. But even from that distance, you could feel the heat from the pyro. And I'm sitting there thinking, how are these shirtless guys coping with that amount of heat? If I'm feeling it up here, what are they feeling down there, virtually
Right.
next to it? So I mean, that was something that just really kind of blew my mind.
Do you happen to remember what event it was?
It was actually a WCW Halloween Havoc, and it was 1991.
Nice.
And I remember they did a match that actually ended with Abdullah the Butcher. Oh, very cool.
This is the 97 one, but
Yeah, but it ended up with Abdullah the Butcher in a mock electric chair being electrocuted.
the Chamber of Horrors match.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously the physical side of this is all extremely important. So tell us a bit about your gym routine, and in your mind, what are the most crucial exercise or group of exercises that you use to keep in ring shape?
Can you repeat that question again? Sorry.
Oh, no problem. So, tell us a bit about your gym routine, and in your mind, what would be the most crucial exercise or group of exercises that you use to keep in ring shape?
I try to break up my workout. This is something I'm trying to discipline myself into doing, because I used to never be a gym savvy person, but for this sport, you need to be. And so I've been trying to literally break my own mold from what I'm used to doing and not doing. I used to rely on full body workouts, but I didn't really find that beneficial in the long run. So I've been splitting up my workouts every day. Some days will be arms. The next day will be lower body and back. The next day will be, shoulders. And then the following day would be legs. And then the next day would be all cardio. Or like, I'll try to break it up and target a different area. I would say the most crucial one for me is, I would say, legs, because I'm a very thin and scrawny guy. So just trying to like up weights here and there and reps. It's not I'm doing it, but it's for sure not that easy. So I'm just for sure trying to get myself more conditioned for it. I was at the gym actually this morning, like very early this morning before going to bed really late. But I would say legs is probably like my most challenging one, because every day when I'm like, I can do arms and chest and stuff like that, fine. But when it comes to do leg stuff and lower body stuff, I'm just like very dreading of it. But I still push myself to get through it, but it's still like a mental thing. Like, all right, get over it. Just go do it.
Oh, for sure. And they say never skip leg day. Looking over at the Instagram chat, Alpha Zoe has joined us. The Ugly Dojo has joined us. Big Pusha Elliot Ray has joined us.
Those are all family right there.
Oh, for
those are all
sure.
family. Everybody.
And Elliot Ray says to the Ugly Dojo, y'all raised up a good one.
Much love, Elliot. Much love. Yes. I just want to give a quick shout out real quick before we go any further. Just a shout out to Elliot and Alpha Zoe. I just recently joined their group known as the Mob, and
Yes.
I am very thankful. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to just work with my brothers and then just get out there with them, and then just not only make a name of myself, but obviously have fun with them, and just being able to just go from there. Like, we just started this new venture for the Mob, so I'm just very excited to see where things will take off for that. And to the Ugly Dojo, to Big Ugly, to Ollie, and to everyone that has trained through them, like, I don't know what kind of person I'd be or a wrestler I'd be if I didn't step through the doors of their school. A lot of valuable things I've been taught, not just to be a performer and a wrestler, but as an adult and a human being. So I'm pretty thankful for everybody just reaching out just right there. So
Absolutely. Elliot just said, a lot of magic we're going to make, dog. The world is yours. So, and just as a reminder to those watching live, if you have a question or comment, you can either throw it in the chat, or if you want to actually ask your question in person, scan the QR code in the upper right corner, and you can actually come on the show and talk with us. The call-in feature is audio only, and all we ask is that you mute any background audio and be at least reasonably civil in your conversation. So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests? What do you like to do with whatever spare time you might have?
I don't know if you just see me sipping on this a little earlier, but I am a big coffee guy. I love espressos, so I like to go out to have a coffee. I wish I could try out more local spots and, venture out with that, but coffee is a big thing that I really love. Outside of that, I am a big thrift shopper. I love going after vintage memorabilia. My big collection that I collect of is vintage wrestling tees. Like, I like to go after the old school pay-per-view tees from back then, or the old school catalog tees that you have to find in the magazines, or even some of the old bootleg shirts from back in the day. Like, I personally go out of my way for a lot of vintage stuff and some modern tees. But vintage wrestling tees has like literally been my forte for like the past 5 years. And if I don't have luck with those, I love going after VHS tapes. Like, I'm a big collector of VHS tapes I'm looking at my shelf right here, and I have a lot of like regular movies and stuff from my kids that were mine originally. But I love to go after anything like wrestling related. So just wrestling tees, wrestling tapes, whether like there's people that make modern tapes still. Like, tapes haven't been made in like 20 something years, and there's people that still make them. So I go out of my way to have that nostalgia for modern stuff. And even though it ain't nostalgic yet, but I like to have that. So just those are mainly my own things. And then if not, if it ain't any one of those two, I like to cook. I'm always cooking, whether it be something that I eyeball right off the bat or something of a recipe that I find online. I have like a small culinary background, so being in the kitchen is very kind of like second to none for me.
Gotcha. So what are your favorite meals to cook? What's your jam?
Personally, if it's going to be something very, very simple and easy, I love a good ribeye steak with some sunny side up eggs and avocado. I love a lot of Asian cuisine dishes, so I like to do like a lot of like spicy peanut butter noodles. It sounds very weird and complex if you don't have those taste buds, but I'm a big ramen head. It's like a very like guilty pleasure type of comfort food for me. So I love to like experiment with different types of flavors of broths and sauces for ramen. I would say mainly those two. And then if when it comes to like basic nights, I just like to just do whatever meat, whether it be chicken, ground beef, or ground chicken, or ground turkey here and there, or salmon or shrimp. Whatever the protein choice would be, I like to just leave it at that. A side of rice or potatoes, and any other form of vegetable. It depends. I switch it up a lot. It's never the same, and I can't meal prep a lot because feel like I get bored having the same
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But I try to have different marinades and different seasonings for whatever protein I choose.
Gotcha. Being a ramen guy, I ought to hook you up with my 17-year-old son, man. He is all about the ramen.
I wish that I was more lectured upon having like authentic good ramen as opposed to like a lot of instant ramens because
Oh yeah.
like don't get me wrong, I love instant ramens, but I wish I could have got more familiar with having more homemade than a pre-made seasoning packet that has like a paragraph of ingredients. So like being able to just mess around with those more. I wish I could. Now I've been able to do more of that, but
Gotcha. So, we're mostly a wrestling related show, obviously, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture here and there, and I'm always looking for recommendations. So, by any chance, are you watching or listening to anything really cool right now?
not really. Like I'm very out of tune with a lot of stuff that's like kind of current. Like I keep eyes and ears on a lot of like things, whether it be entertainment, or whether it be music or art or clothing. Like I'm not up to date with a lot of stuff. Like I'll hear bits and pieces or I'll read bits and pieces of certain stuff, but my mind is, even if I'm not prioritizing wrestling, I'm always with wrestling. I'm always constantly either watching it or studying it. Like I'm so involved with wrestling, it takes up too much of my time, and I just do that to myself. But and if I pay attention to anything else on the outside, it's very like hit or miss. It really depends on what it is.
Gotcha. So, looking over again at the Instagram chat, Cool Rocket 29 says that he would love to see you have a dream match and rivalry with Ricochet.
That's a name dropper. Well, thank you for that. Pretty startled from that. Now Ricochet is one hell of a talent. I remember watching a lot of his stuff as a teen, and he's still killing it to this day. I don't know if my style would work well with him because Ricochet's has that flippy style, the flippy high flyer style. I may look like a flippy high flyer kind of guy, but surprisingly, I am not. But that is definitely a for sure dream match that I can only imagine and hope that I can deliver on of a level of a Ricochet style match. So thank you, whoever said that. I appreciate that.
So, outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
Outside of wrestling, kind of a handful answer. My children, my son and my daughter are my number one. Like they are my complete world. I
How old
literally
are
everything
they?
that my daughter, she just turned 7 this month, and then my son, he's 3. He'll be turning 4 in September. So, they're for sure still growing, and they're just like enjoying their summer break right now.
Oh, yeah.
So they are for sure my number one influences. Even if they don't really care for the wrestling and all this stuff, like they say they do, but then when you're there, they don't. But if it ain't followed by them too, it's my mother because she's been my strongest support system. And then follow that up is my father. He's no longer with us. He's been passed away for about 11 years now. But I wouldn't be the wrestling fan that I am if he never took me to the places or if he didn't lecture me on like the people that he grew up on his era. Like I'm over here watching stuff from the mid 2000s, Ruthless Aggression, TNA era stuff, and he's like giving me lectures on stuff from the 80s and 70s and 90s and like stuff from the territory days. So if he never put me on those, I probably would have never ever ventured out seeking watching anything from those eras. So, or just knowing who anybody was from those eras. So, um, those have been my main four influences. And then obviously I have tons of friends and family that have been with me since forever. So they're just as much as influential to me as my main four.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, when in September is your son's birthday?
He's born on the 7th, and I am on
Oh,
the
okay.
16th. I'm on the 16th, so we both share the same month together.
Well, I'm on the 17th. So
Virgo babies, let's go.
September babies are cool. So, so what is your favorite thing about Northern California?
Favorite thing about Northern California, depending on what area you're in, I would say just more of a culture. Like everyone has a different ethnic background and standpoint on a lot of things in their life, or everyone is more tuned into stuff that I'm not tuned into. It's just more of a culture thing. Like I'm kind of much of a homebody when I'm not out wrestling, so it's kind of hard for me to kind of like answer this right now. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I would say more of a culture thing. Like I'm pretty sure you could say that with anywhere else you can possibly travel to in Cali. But it's just you can realize how someone else's energy is compared to some places are. Um, but just it really depends on how people vibe with you. Um, I would leave it at that.
For sure, for sure. So, they say that the best wrestling personas are usually mostly yourself turned up to 11. So
Yeah.
tell us about in-ring Julz and kind of compare and contrast him with everyday you.
So for Julz Rafael, Julz Rules, the man who rules, is everything that Julian should have ever been. Like Julz Rafael is literally a person that younger Julian has only ever dreamed of being, right? Not just as a wrestler, but just as a human being. But right now, I can tell you that I am comfortably at like the best version of myself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I am at like literally my best version, and I can only see things getting better from here. But me being the best version of myself currently is allowing me to be the best version of Julz Rafael when that bell rings, or when I'm even getting geared up, or when there's a camera on me, or if I have to talk with the microphone. Um, it allows me to be something that I should have been a long time ago. And it's just a stronger individual, a stronger human being, and somebody that should have had a backbone a lot earlier in life. So just being able to just be a better Julian, or the best version of Julian right now, to when Julz Rafael has to appear, um, it it really makes a difference from what I've always envisioned myself being. And it took a minute, took a while, but I wouldn't have it any other way, or I wouldn't ask for it to change any other way.
Gotcha, gotcha. I was noticing, when I put together the opening montage, man, I am a sucker for a good submission hold, and that hold that you had really looked it looked brutal. So
Thank you.
kudos to you, man.
Thank you. I actually that submission is from Kazuchika Okada's. He called it the red ink at the time he debuted it. That was like literally around the year. This is like 2013, 2014. I think he started really making that move more known. But when I started training, I was like, I want something of a unique submission move, and I've only seen him really use that. So kind of stole that from him. But uh, a lot of stuff from wrestling has been stolen from others, but not to toot anyone else's horn.
No, and for sure. I mean, they say there's nothing new under the sun. Everything is either stolen or derivative of somebody else's stuff. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's a nice tribute, if nothing else.
Yeah,
And
he's for sure one of like my favorite influences. Just
Okada's
getting,
just unreal.
yeah, we'll dig in on him later.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And Elliot Ray says NorCal is a melting pot, and that's a lot of the reason why he's stayed. So,
Can't say it any better.
so tell us about your first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts about it? Tell us about the first one.
So my very first match, it was my debut. This was for at our school, the Ugly Dojo. We had a venue up in Vacaville. This is December 2024. I had a match with this guy. He ended up being my tag partner later on. His name is Lo Devereaux. He goes by the name the Boogie Woogie Man.
Jimmy Valiant.
Totally right. So it was a overall going into that match and setting up doing ring crew and all this other stuff, like it was just nerves for all the right reasons. Nerves for actually being a part of the show on the card as opposed to being a ticket buyer and in a chair on the side of the audience. So being able to shift my mind from no longer being a fan into actually being the person on the card that people are actually here to see. All those nerves are there. The match overall, if I could watch it back, I mean, I could watch it back right now, but there's times where I would see clips of it and I'm just like, I just look so scared. I look so nervous and like, it was definitely a fun match, but definitely some things that I could have wished I like worked on or prioritized more, like just interacting with the audience more, or just there's some times where I noticed my strikes just looked really weak, and I was just like I'm supposed to be debuting for you guys, and I'm having these weak strikes and stuff, and like there's no reaction from the crowd. Like I was just nervous though, like but just all excitement though. It was finally being able to say I did something and then actually like pushing it forward and finishing it. Obviously I lost, but it ain't about wins and losses to me sometimes. So the fact that I was able to go out there and fight through all those nerves and still have a match with someone like who ended up being just as close to me as I can say a lot of my closer friends and brothers, like I'm pretty thankful that Lo was my opponent, but overall it was just a learning experience, because there's times where I really watch back that match and I'm like, I don't know what I would be if I didn't focus on this, or I don't know how I would perform if I didn't work on this or didn't take back the feedback from my coaches or so forth. So definitely a time when I had my first match with Lo.
Nice. So we've heard about the first one. Now, if you can narrow it down, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
There's been a handful of matches that I can say I'm very proud of, regardless of the outcome. Is it okay if I give like my top three?
Oh, of course.
Okay, for me, not just as a wrestler, but even as a fan, man, it's so hard for me to narrow it down to just one thing because, like I said, there's so much wrestling that goes around. So like even if you ask me what's my favorite match, what's my favorite show, what's my favorite wrestler, like it's either never going to be the same, or I had to give like multiple just so. I'm sorry, I got carried off. Can you repeat that last question again?
Yeah, what is your favorite match that you have been a part of?
Okay. Sorry, I don't know. I'm like Dory sometimes. I have short-term memory loss. My favorite matches I've been a part of, I'll give you an honorable mention for this one. It's kind of recent. I had a match with his name is Timmy Rogan at our Ugly Dojo Jack Rabbit Brewing show here in West Sac. Um, I beat him and I defeated him for our Sac Metro title. Um, so I am the second Sac Metro champion for the Ugly Dojo. So
Nice.
I will put this as an honorable mention. I should put this as number one, but I don't want to act like I'm top dog or anything like that. Um, that is my honorable mention, but there's been three matches that I will say I'm very most proud of. I will go with number three. It was a tag team match. It was me and Lo. We had our team that was known as Deva Rules, which is a pun on both of our names, against the Gator Boys, Bobby Bayou and Brian Joseph. We were the opening match for this new venue that we just got called the Press Club here in downtown Sac. And they're more known for it was a bar event, but they're more catered to like the punk rock concert scene. So being able to host a wrestling show in that venue and also being the very first match for that venue, it felt special. It felt like a big fight match for all of us. But unfortunately, there's no footage of that. We didn't have no one record it. But from the whole match from top to bottom, from interacting with the crowd and having the crowd like literally behind everything that we did, I am very proud of that match. Even if I never see it or the footage of it ever, I'm very proud of how that one went. The Gator Boys beat us and retained their tag titles. My second one is a triple threat match that also at the Jackrabbit Brewing spot that we go to. It was a triple threat between myself, the Dark Fox Illumide, and El Chupacabra. Chupacabra and Illumide are very they are very, how do you say it? They are more what's the word? It's not situated, but they are more, how do you say it? I'm losing the tip, like the word for it. They are more familiar with being in the NorCal scene. Like they are used to it. Like they've been in this scene for a while.
They're more established.
Thank you. I couldn't spill it out, but they are for sure more established. Chupi is being the more veteran of over Illumide, but Illumide has been, that dude's a generational talent. I'm telling you, that man's a freak, but a good one. But I had the pleasure of being in a triple threat match with both of those guys, and I had both singles matches with them prior, way before this triple threat match. But when it got announced and after the match was over, I was very proud of how I held my own against those two. And I feel like I improved so much from when I had those first initial singles matches with them too. Illumide ended up winning the match. It was a number one contenders match for our Ugly Dojo title. But I felt very proud, you know, how sore and beat up I was from it. I was very proud of just being able to hold my own against those guys. And my number one, it's kind of like a tie, man. It's I went against a guy named his name is the Flyboy Andrew Cass. I had a series of matches with him up in Pacheco and Pacifica, but we had two matches. One in Pacheco, one in Pacifica. He was the champion in both of the promotions that we wrestled for. And he's a very athletic, he's kind of like my size, very slim, but he's very athletic. He's very fast. He has like that very current hybrid style of wrestling that you would see on like a AEW or, you know, a Super Juniors cruiserweight style. So being able to get in the ring with him and do things in matches I never thought I could do, and obviously test my own endurance and durability against someone of like his, he's still fairly new, but he's getting a lot more reps than I haven't gotten. So just being able to match with him and obviously learn from that. I am very proud of the two matches that I had with him in Pacheco and Pacifica. This was for East Bay Pro and for the PSG title, and then West Coast Pro for their Golden Gate title. I was very proud of the matches that I had with him, especially the West Coast one. It was coming up on my 1 year since I made my debut. So like, and West Coast is kind of like the number one in NorCal, where they have like the eyes and ears of the indies, and like they bring in some really top names. So just being able to be on their card and wrestle for a mid card, just wrestle for a title alone, and just be showcased on a platform for them. Even in defeat, man, like I was very thankful for that. But I was very proud of those matches and just feel like I came a long way since from when the first time I wrestled Andrew to that current one, and just yeah, just those four matches that I have mentioned, technically five because I had two with Andrew. I'm very proud of all of them.
Absolutely. So, again, for those of you watching live, if you have a question or comment, you can either throw it in the chat, or if you want to actually ask your question in person, scan the QR code in the upper right corner, and you'll actually be able to come on the show with us. And the call-in feature is audio only, and all we ask is that you mute any background audio and be at least somewhat civil in your conversation. So, you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure you've picked up a few of these along the way. So what would you say is your biggest wrestling-related pet peeve? Fun question.
I would say just coming across, if anyone's listening and if you feel a certain way, that's on you. If the boot fits, just coming across certain individuals in a locker room that really think they are, I don't know if I can curse, but I'm not going to. Okay, I will. I don't like, I've come across a handful of individuals that just act like they're top shit. And when you would watch them wrestle, it's like, what makes you so top? Like, what? I had a couple of individuals where I'm just like, they're just in the back room, just messing around, just talking, acting like they are like the marquee guys on the show, and then just like you watch them wrestle, and it's like, you guys are shit in the bed. Like, I'll leave it at that, man. Just coming across a lot of individuals that just think they are so above everybody, and it like we're all here at the same level, and we're all here trying to put on a show for the same people, and it's just like people just certain folks just don't have that same mentality. To everyone wants to get their shit in, and that's fine, but I don't know, just certain people just really just carry themselves differently, and it's just there's a big reason why you see only certain folks work certain places, and nowhere anywhere else.
Right. Yeah, there are certain people in this world that have an overinflated sense of their self, and that's in any walk of life, any line of work. You've always got those people. So, but
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So, if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
See, when you sent me this prompt, I was so ready to answer this, and it's such a trick question. It really is.
It is.
Ideally, to myself, I'm always going to say in ring, but I've learned along the way, not just recently, but I learned along the way that I'm going to pick. You need to be good on the mic. You need to be good with your promo skills, because as much as this is the wrestling business, and as much as we are entertaining you with wrestling, the mic skills, the promo skills, they all just matter just as much. Whether I'm a person that has mic skills and no wrestling skills, or vice versa, I say the mic skills and promo skills matter, because if you're trying to be a marquee talent, or if you want to make yourself, this goes for a lot of top people, whether you're in the WWE, AEW, New Japan, wherever has a TV deal or a contract, you got to learn to talk. You got to learn to be able to be comfortable talking. because obviously the wrestling is always going to be there. But if you really notice along the lines, like, okay, you've seen so many great wrestlers, but then like, how come they never made it to the top, or how come they never handed opportunities? Is because simply they didn't have the confidence in promos. They didn't have the confidence talking on a microphone or getting through those little goosebumps or the butterflies in your stomach when talking to a larger audience. So, because honestly, your mic skills and promo skills matter because you want to be able to sell yourself and sell the show that you're on. And obviously, once it's time to wrestle, then you can sell them even more. But you want to be able to sell everything prior to convince everybody, and obviously, like, believe in what you want to put out too. But you want to be able to convince people more to come back to the next time and the next show and the next show, just from talking. And it really goes a long way just engaging with your audience, or if it's not a whole audience, engaging with the people that are fans of your craft, or engaging with people or trying to convince people that aren't fans of you yet. Or if you don't have fans and they just simply hate you, you're going to still put out the work, whether it be mic skills or promo skills, to convince them, like, no, you may not like me, but I'm still going to be reasons why I'm going to be on the show, whether you like me or don't like me.
Gotcha.
So ideally, I'm always going to say in ring, but if you really want to make it, and everybody wants to make it, everybody wants to get those dream deals and contracts and opportunities, you got to learn to talk. So I'm going to go with the mic skills and promo skills. And even if I'm a shit wrestler, I will say that.
Yeah. Plus, if God forbid something happens to where your in-ring career is over, if you can talk, you can still have a place in the business. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? Is there a match or matches that are near and dear to your heart that you find yourself circling back to?
All the time, my friend. I will just name three. I will name three matches, because I can literally go on and on about matches and events and everything.
Same here.
I'll throw the one that I'm currently wearing right now. This is Eddie and Ray from Halloween Havoc '97. Eddie Guerrero is, like a lot of us, is a legend to our eyes, and we all grew up in idolizing him. So I got Eddie and Ray as number 3. I'm going to put Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match. And then number 1 is more of a kind of the current era scene of wrestling, but Okada versus Omega from Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Oh yeah.
Their whole trilogy from New Japan and obviously spending into AEW. That was like a peak. The Okada Omega 1 was probably like the peak of like my fandom, like my inner mark of being a wrestling fan. So just being able to see something of like that just kick off at the time it was happening, it was like wrestling is about to take over, and it has. Okada Omega from Wrestle Kingdom, and I could follow with all the other matches they've had too. They're just as equally as great. But I'm going to pick that one. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, WrestleMania 12, and then Eddie and Ray, WCW Halloween Havoc '97. And if I'm going to add one honorable mention, it will be John Cena versus CM Punk from Money in the Bank 2011. I was overseas on a summer vacation watching that pay-per-view, and that was just like a peak, an early peak of being a mark for wrestling before my inner mark even kicked up even more. But being able to watch that match live and the storytelling that they were telling, like, you didn't really nothing felt more real than that at the time, where the PG era of WWE was like kind of honky and wokey and like, very cartoonish or whatever. But that match for sure gave off like, okay, this is not a WWE style match. This is like a pro wrestling style match. And just from crowd environment to hostility of the crowd and just everything involving in that whole build up, and was Punk gonna leave and not, like, that convinced me as a 13-year-old me. So I said 3, but we'll go with those 4.
Hey, We could go on and on.
No, I really could, but I do.
Yeah. So, piggybacking onto that question, do you have an all-time favorite promo as a fan, or promos?
I always cite Austin 316 as a valuable one to look back on. That one's very iconic for the same reasons. Um, Back to CM Punk, I was watching the pipe bomb when it aired live.
Yep.
When he was crisscross applesauce
Yeah.
on the stage setup. So I would go with that one, those two, and there is a lot of great promo stuff and great segments and stuff out there, but I will leave it at just those two. And I know I'm probably missing a few current ones, and there's a lot more iconic ones too. Oh, the one where Harley Race puts the bounty, I believe it's on Dusty.
Yeah.
Is it Dusty? He puts a bounty on Dusty Rhodes for $100,000 or $1 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Just a promo of that. Not my era, but being put on that from my dad, and obviously going back and watching stuff on my own. That one's I like that one a lot. And the recent one, I reposted it on my page not too long ago. But when Roddy Piper breaks the beer bottle over his head.
Oh yeah.
And basically saying that his title match is going to make a big difference. Just trying to show, just Roddy being Roddy as he was. It's like, yeah, I would say those ones right there. I appreciated that one the most.
Gotcha. So this is one of these questions that the answer can literally change almost moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day. But at this very moment, in your opinion, who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the world? Who is the best man and who's the best woman right at this moment?
The best man. And with the current scene of wrestlers on the pro levels, it's hard.
Tough. It is. That's why I love this question.
I can say a lot of guys from AEW and New Japan that are killing it. I'm going to say right now, as the best men's wrestler, it's Will Ospreay.
I won't argue that.
He's out of this world, as anyone knows. But just the current direction where they're going with him, and obviously has his own athleticism and skills is taking him there, and has progressed that over the years. I'm going to say him, and especially with his big matches coming up soon. It's. I would also say Kenny Omega, just because he just won the world title. But I am also I'm going to say Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
But
Ospreay and Kenny are going to have an amazing match at All In.
But I would put Ospreay at number one, but in terms of I'm going to name two other guys who should be at the top of that right now. Number two is Konosuke Takeshita. I feel like from coming in from last year, going into this year, he's had one hell of a career, and he's still going. I just seen from where he was at as an outsider from DDT AEW to being at the top forefront of New Japan, winning their most prestigious tournament and title, and then headlining this year's Wrestle Kingdom. He's not on that main event level right now at the moment, but he's still Takeshita. So all that work that he's done, it's still there, and it's only going to kick up. The G1 Climax kicks off today in Chicago. So but in terms of the last person I'll mention, it's kind of a weird take for me, but just of his own meteoric rise that he's had, Callum Newman. Even though he is an Ospreay protege, or basically like another Osprey kind of style wrestler. Um, when he first came in, I had no really interest in him, but I seen the new direction where they were going with their stable, the United Empire, and he's for sure being taken more serious. And then obviously the push that he's gotten, winning the New Japan Cup, winning the new IWGP title, and then just having a little run with that. Like he had to have done something to really earn that, and like obviously his own skill, but seeing that type of rise from somebody that I had very to little no interest in to someone that's like, obviously he has stepped up big time, but I would say just from where he was at, winning the tournament to just losing the title in these past couple months, like I was very impressed with everything that he did. So I would put him as an honorable mention as one of the top right now, and especially him being so young. Yeah, I would leave it at just those three. And I know I'm missing a whole lot more and a lot of other bigger name talent, but those have been those top three guys that have been standing out to me. And as for the women, Tekla has been freaking killing it. Rhea Ripley has also been killing it. She's kind of getting back in her strides of where she was at on the main scene. She's always been a top level superstar, no matter where she's at on the card. But I feel like this year was probably going to be her, kickback year. She took a little step back down last year compared to the other prior years, but Tekla, Rhea Ripley, and then Mercedes Moné, she's still hanging in there strong. She's originally from Fairfield, and I'm born in Fairfield, and so just being able to, hey, there's someone there that I've always idolized her. So, but her also finding out that she was from my hometown, I'm like, I love that. So I'm always gonna have her back, and always have a support for her as a fan. But I know I'm naming more than one person, but it's just really hard to name it down to the. But for the women, Tekla, Rhea, Mercedes.
Absolutely. So, and again, just as a reminder for the folks that are watching live, if you have a question or comment, you can either throw it in the chat, or if you want to actually ask your question in person, scan the QR code in the upper right corner and you can actually come on to the stream. And all we ask is that you mute any background audio and be at least reasonably civil in your conversation. So, in your opinion, what is the best storyline in wrestling right now?
It's definitely not the Bloodline. It's definitely not anything with the WWE title. I guess, in my opinion, I don't think there's really any good stories going on. In my opinion, even though there's stories being told right in front of us. It kind of just ended a few months ago, but it was the El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
That feud alone, let alone the match alone, for a lucha audience, like that's what they're known for, having those big heavy feuds that get drawn out to the blood feuds of, mask versus mask, or mask versus hair, or title versus something, the lucha de apuestas matches. I would say that one had a very big payoff with alongside with the match. Just because of the fact that they gave a gimmick to Chad Gable and he got injured, and then someone totally different, Ludwig Kaiser, took over the role, and actually excelled better at the role than Chad did. Sorry, Chad. But like being able to just see a German individual freaking speak Spanish more fluently better than me, I'm sold already. So, and just the whole build up, and it really gave off like a classic lucha, like, I hate you, but I want you gone from here. I want to know who you are. Like those, you only hear stories of like old school lucha rivalries. And my personal favorite is like La Parka versus LA Park from like 2010. But it really gave off that blood feud. And it's great that WWE helped AAA get to that platform. or
Absolutely.
or not give them that platform, but give them the more eyes and ears that they deserved, and especially with the feud like the Americanos did. I was very tuned in as a fan, and
Yeah.
I'm always going to be a fan of stuff. So like just being able to just say like that was for me to say like that was fucking great,
Yeah.
like everything.
Yep. Absolutely. And and man, Gable and Kaiser just killed it in that blow off match. I mean,
They
that was unreal.
like you just like yeah, and just they really kept the traditions of everything of the lucha libre for it. A lot of traditional fans were probably like, oh, that was only that because of no, like I don't really care for all the tribalistic comments and side takes and all that stuff, but ideally that was probably the best storyline so far this year, and we'll see where else things kick up then. I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do with Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say that's probably like the only storyline I'm like gonna see where that goes, because I was very happy for his win. But obviously
So,
what happened on
yeah.
Monday was like,
I know. Same here. I actually had a question, kind of a hot take question about that.
mhm,
The fact that they put the belt on him, but then just turned him into a transitional 9-day champion. Man,
yeah,
I'm hoping that there's more meat on that bone, but I just feel like Sammy deserves so much better.
he
you
did.
know?
I feel like they were just more of the fuck it, here you go,
Yeah.
here you go type of reign. And when you watch wrestling and then you see certain individuals get their moments, it's like okay, like it's either they earned it or they're just like, all right, here you go, leave us alone.
Yeah.
But either way, I was very happy that he got his moment.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
I wish we all could have seen more of it. But
Yeah.
Saturday night's main event's coming up, and that's going to tie into SummerSlam. So hopefully they'll
Yep.
do something unique, or we'll just see where things go. But I would like to see more of that play out, or I want to see the transition of where his character is going to go with that. Is he going to be more disgruntled? Is he going to be more seeking the sympathy to get back what he thought was cheated out of? Like I want to see what direction they'll go with him. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Cody and Punk or Gunther, because like they're all tied in the same title picture scene. But we'll see where that really goes. But yes, should he have had a longer reign? Sure. Should he have gone into SummerSlam as the champ? Sure. But they all had their own plans. So but I would
Yep.
like to see exactly where that all goes. Will he be a two-time champ? Will he become a
We'll
multi-time
see.
champ?
Yep.
So
Time will tell. So, glancing over at the Instagram chat, we've got a few more people pulling in. Actually, previous guest, interestingly enough, I had her on a Superfan Spotlight episode, and she has since actually commenced training at House of Champions in Orlando.
mhm.
Bree Willow's Fury has joined us.
I agree.
Clay Cutler has joined us. Chaba Sports has joined us, and referee Ben Barnett 94 has joined us.
Hello, guys. Thank you all for joining us. I am Julz Rafael, the man who rules. This is
Yes,
this is
you are.
Matt. He is the
Yeah.
host. We're,
So, what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would at least rather not do? And that can be giving or receiving.
uh, I like doing frog splashes. Frog splashes are very fun. Um, One of my signature moves that I like to use is the zigzag, Dolph Ziggler's Nick Nemeth's Danger Zone move.
Yeah.
I'm a very smaller guy. Like I'm like a buck 60, man. So like I'm not lifting folks up that are heavier than me or doing power moves as much as I'm trying to improve my physique for that. Um, the zigzag is a move that I can literally hit on anybody of all sizes. Um, but I would say a move that I am also that surprisingly it's a move that is very impactful, but I actually find it very fun to take. is a German suplex. I like taking those for some reason. It's kind of fun just getting thrown around sometimes, but it's obviously the crash landing that you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Moves that I won't do. Just anything that I know I can't get my strength up for. Like a lot of it, like power bomb moves. Like I would love to use moves of those variations or something of like double underhook stuff and like lifting upwards. But I'm not confident with my strength just yet. So just anything in those variation of moves. A move that I for sure hated taking is the burning hammer.
Yeah.
The burning that one. I'm glad I'm a wrestling fan that knows what all these moves are and know how to set up for it and know where to be. But yeah, that one sucked. I took one and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'll never. You got to start paying me extra if I'm gonna start taking more of these like on the daily. I would say mainly just the burning hammer. I would love to do more. I want to incorporate more like just more power moves, but I am not comfortable with my strength just yet. And I'm still working on that. So when I get more familiar with it and for sure get more of a physique going, then I'll contemplate using those. But I'm very quick on my feet, so I use my speed more than I use my power.
Gotcha. And interestingly enough, you're kind of an anomaly because most of the wrestlers that I've had on the show hate taking Germans. So
Probably just because I'm smaller and I really like. There's been a handful of Germans that I've taken where I'm just like, whee, and I just really get thrown back way further than I imagined. Obviously the landings suck, but surprisingly, like I just find it fun. That's just me.
Cool. So, you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure this may apply to one degree or another, but at the same time, you're still a pretty young guy. But I'll ask the question, what hurts right now?
My sleep schedule. No. Surprisingly, I'm not in pain at all. I have been noticing just like something with my knuckles, but I can't tell you if it's from something that happened in wrestling or from my day job. It's very minor. It's nothing major, but like I just noticed like I feel like right now it's not hurting, but for like earlier this week, like I noticed my bone would pop a little like more when I would bend it more. But surprisingly, nothing really hurts right now. Just this was very minor, but I would say just my sleep schedule hurts the most because I just don't sleep a lot. I go to bed late and I wake up super early, and then I rely on caffeine just so I don't slump myself throughout the day.
Gotcha. So, in the time you've been doing this, what is the worst bump you have taken? Would it be that burning hammer, or is there something even worse?
That burning hammer for sure is going to be my top one. There has been a couple of gut wrench power bombs that I've taken, courtesy of one of our Ugly Dojo members, Bobby Bayou of the Gator Boys. I have been in the ring with that guy a handful of times, and I've been on the receiving end of his monstrous gut wrench power bomb, and there's been times where I've landed a little bit more higher up than some. Not saying there's nothing wrong with how I've landed, but there's been times where I'm just like, oh, okay, brother, you got me. Like that one got me for sure. And either way, it's his finisher. I'm not getting up from any of them, but at the same time, I'm like, oh yeah, this one sucked more than the last time I took it. But I'll still take them. But there's been a few matches where I'm just like, oh yeah, all right, we're good.
Gotcha. So, another California guy, previous guest, Dominic DeJesus from Los Angeles has joined us. Good dude, and had a really interesting conversation with him quite a while ago. I need to actually get him back on. That was a good time.
Hell yeah.
So Knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Get your head out of your ass.
Yeah,
Like,
I think we could all advise our younger selves of that.
just even if you think it's like the end of the world type of scenario, like nothing is as bad as it seems, or nothing is as bad as you make it out to be. So I would say mainly just if you got something bothering you or dwelling on you, or no matter how big or small it is, being able to like drop it. Say if I'm having a super bad day and I have to go to work my night job, and like I don't want that to affect my shift. Like I rather drop it at the door as soon as I leave this house, and then I'll pick it up as soon as my long shift's over with. And so being able to just do that, not just in wrestling, but just in any day of life, I would tell if I could tell for sure 10-year-old me to freaking 18-year-old me, I would say just get your head out of your ass and just knock it off. Like, yes, things do suck right now, or things are not where you want it to be right now, or it's something's affecting not just you, but and a lot of people around you. Like, just being able to just shut up and push through. I'm not saying completely forget about it or drop whatever it is that you are feeling, but there's times where you need to address it at different times. Don't push it onto other people's times where you know you're supposed to be doing something just as important or something just as valuable.
Wise words. So, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
Uh, music, headphones, and then just self isolating. Um, just so I can just like obviously get in the mood, get in the vibes of things, and then obviously get ready to do what I'm supposed to be doing, but just being able to just have the right mindset, and then like I said, get your head out of your ass. Like, say if I have something going on in life that I haven't forgot about on the day of the show, but by the time I'm getting ready and the show's about to begin or my match is about to begin, it's literally a matter of just putting it to the side and completely forgetting about it, and then readdress yourself with it later. Just a lot of self isolating, like just because I want to make sure I'm where I need to be at the right places in my match, and then obviously wanting to deliver on all cylinders. So just music and just self isolating, and then I'll do a little quick prayer just to myself and things like that. Just having myself be safe the entire time, and whoever else I'm wrestling be safe the entire time with, and making sure they're okay as well. And not so much just for my match and whoever else I'm wrestling, but for an entirety of a show. So I want to make sure I just deliver as much as I can. But for sure, music, self-isolating, and depending on who's there, I'll ask a question or so, just like depending on something. But if I talk to somebody, it really depends.
Gotcha. I want to say a quick shout out to a 209 fan who just popped in. He and I have had some chats on DM. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I've seen him around a couple of times on social media, and I can tell he has a good platform.
So something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest ask a question for the next guest. So okay. one of my recent guests, actually another NorCal guy, D Rogue, posed this question, and that is, if your wrestling career was a movie, what movie would it be?
That's a trick question because I don't know what movie category I want to label it under. I will give a tie between two movies. I will give a tie between The Mask with Jim Carrey and I'm looking at my shelf right now, so it's like literally some of my favorite films of all time. I'm going to go with The Mask with Jim Carrey, and I'm going to go with Blow with Johnny Depp.
Nice, nice.
I would say just those
So,
two.
and there is a second part to this
Oh,
because another recent guest, Tag Team 209 Swole,
mm-hmm.
uh, had a question for you, and that they said you would know what they meant. When do you want to run it back?
Whenever someone is wanting to put us together again, whenever you guys want to. I'm 209 Swole, Godfather of Swole, and 209 Boat. Great father and son duo.
Yep.
I only had a handful of times wrestling them. Um, I would love to whenever. I mean, just whenever I have an opportunity to be at another promotion that I know I see them more familiar with that I haven't been to. They are more familiar with like there's a promotion called 209 Dragons Den. I know
Mm-hmm.
they go there a lot, but I have not had the opportunity to go up there just because of life and other bookings. But I shared the ring with Boat uh, just twice and just one time with Godfather. Um, but just I have no problem. I would love to. They they have the right mindset. Just have a fun time. So I feel
Yep.
like me and Boat would have really have a great match. If anything, someone I had a lot of folks tell us that like he looks like you or he looks like he could be your tag partner. Like just because we're
Yeah.
all he's way younger than me, but he's tatted up and everything, and like we both look
Yeah.
like we're part of the same scene. But yeah, if you guys are watching, fellas, whenever I'm not taking no backseats to nothing. Whenever there's an opportunity, a booking, you guys want me to talk to a certain somebody, let me know. I will have no problem doing so, and we'll
Yeah.
have some fun.
Absolutely. And man, I had a great time with those guys. I mean, just two great human beings.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
So, during his farewell tour, John Cena kept bringing up the concept of leaving wrestling better than he found it. And
Hmm.
that really resonated with me, and I just thought, well, what a great, really cool thing to be striving for.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you're still very young in your career, but, ultimately someday, you'll be done with the business.
Right.
And what are you doing or hope to be doing to leave wrestling better than you found it?
Uh, I'm going to take this from a quote that a New Japan wrestler said. Even though I don't speak Japanese, he said it was translated through the English commentary. Sonata once said that I would like to think that I can make the world of wrestling a better place, better than I found it, but I know it'll continue better off without me. So I keep that in mind. Like, I don't personally think I can be the one to change the world of wrestling. I don't think that I can be that sole individual that's going to be the eyes and ears of why wrestling is really popping and kicking off, right? Um, I, but I like to keep that mentality of like where I know it's going to be better off without me, but I would like to see what I can do to make it better as if I am here or with me doing it. So just being able to apply just the simple common words of that. Like when I first got into wrestling or when I first started to train with Ugly and everybody, like I'm well aware of what the scene is, and I'm well aware of what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to get at, and I'm well aware of what I am not. Okay, so I want to make sure that like whatever it is that I'm asked to, I'm hoping that I can just deliver and over exceed any expectation. But if like I said, I know if I do retire, say if I retire tomorrow or today, like I'm well aware of like of the individuals that are in this scene, not just in my area, but all across the globe, that are going to continue taking this sport. And me personally, I would love to be a part of that conversation of a person from a so-and-so area that is making waves and making a name for himself and traveling and this and that. Like, I want to be that form of wrestler, but if something does to happen, I want to just for sure be somebody that, like, I want to be able to say I found it better than when I found it. But the rest is up to me, though.
Absolutely. And taking one final glance over at the Instagram chat, D-Rogue must have sensed we were talking about him, because he popped in and he said, "Who rules the world?" So we're pretty much at the end of things now. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you want to give some hype to?
Yes, tomorrow I will be stopping at Stockton Con tomorrow in Stockton, California. Supreme Pro Wrestling is hosting live wrestling at the Stockton Con event. They are currently going on right now, I think, or they might have just finished actually. But they are there today and tomorrow. I didn't go today because I have this going on, and I also have a plan later on that I'm not booked anywhere really this weekend. But I did reach out, and they said if there's any wrestlers I want to, feel free to come by. Please reach out to us. And I reached out to the head promoter, Sir Samurai, asking if there's any availability. And he says, "Yeah, we'd love to have you. So we'll see you guys. We'll see you tomorrow." So I do have technically a booking tomorrow up in Stockton. But next week is a big weekend for us at the Ugly Dojo. We are having our monthly Jackrabbit shows that here in West Sac. Every month we're there, and Jackrabbit always treats us well, and us as a Ugly Dojo, not just as a member or a champion or just, it is very important that we do all these shows for us, because it just really keeps our name going, it keeps our brand going, and it really shows what kind of style of wrestling we are trying to put out there, especially to make the scene in NorCal better. So next Friday, Jackrabbit Brewing. I'm pretty sure I will be defending my championship, but against who, I do not know. But this will be my first title defense, and I am excited to whoever it could be. But if you are in the West Sacramento area or anywhere in the Sacramento area, please check us out. And here in West Sacramento, Jackrabbit Brewing, we are there every month. And then the next day, we are going, I believe, to Citrus Heights, which is like a couple miles up from West Sac. We have a new venue. It's at this place called the Smash Room. So just kind of like the Rage Room kind of environment. I believe they are having like live music and band concerts going on there too. But it's a new venue for us, different city here in the Sac area. So very looking forward to that one. I will also be defending the Sac Metro title there as well. So just a big weekend for us, like just a very busy weekend for us at the Ugly Dojo. We're just all excited for it. Let's see. And then I just, whatever I got coming up with Oasis, with Zoe and Elliot and Deidre, whatever plans that we got for the Mob and Oasis Pro Wrestling up in the Berkeley area, in the Bay Area. I'm excited for anything that goes on for those two. Anything going on with that. But tomorrow, SPW Stockton. Next Friday, Saturday, Ugly Dojo, Jackrabbit, and Smash Room. And then just whatever. Not sure what I have announced for Oasis at the moment, but you will be seeing me there with Elliot and Zoe and Dre a lot more now.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, this Monday, July 13th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 249, and our guest is a West Virginia-based wrestler, Bitter Brian Compton. And then Tuesday, July 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we've actually got episode 250. We've managed to make it to 250 of these. And our guest is a luchador based out of Ohio, Noro Demora. And then on Wednesday the 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern, episode 251, and our guest is New York-based wrestler TK O'Dean. All of these should be really great conversations, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. And it looks like we may have lost Julz. Well, for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. And it looks like he's back. You're back.
I don't know what happened right there.
Well, hey, you know, at least you were able to come back.
Yeah, I was like,
and
I didn't do anything.
And, well, I was just saying, you know, for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, definitely take the time and do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until Monday at 7 with Bitter Brian Compton out of West Virginia, be good to each other, love each other, and let's keep